Well, good evening, everybody. Mikey Soothing here to make another ASMR video on a nostalgia theme tonight. Now, I'm finally getting my voice back, so hopefully you can hear what I'm really going to sound like. And cold season finally getting over, allergy season beginning. But I have a couple of voice aids here. I've got an adult beverage here in this glass, and I've got my water bottle here. So between the two, I think I can get through a nice video tonight. Not too long though. And, I don't know if the women are always doing, women have nails. So the women who do these ASMR, they're always doing stuff like that. I can't quite do that. It won't be it'll be kind of quiet if you don't mind. But, they have nice long painted nails and stuff, so not really a guy thing. But we'll do what we can, alright? But meanwhile, the theme I wanted to do tonight, for soothing purpose, is to talk about, in our world of chaos, and wrath and dissension and economy problems and all that stuff. I was thinking, back in the 50's, a few decades ago, in the early 60's, the world was such a peaceful and happy place. These problems didn't exist. Giant student loan debt and, terrorism all over the world and conflict everywhere and all that kind of thing. Economic trouble and a giant 17 trillion in government debt. There was none of that was going on. And that was a time of peacefulness and prosperity. Women stayed home and raised children mostly, but a lot of them worked also outside the home. But there was a good family life back then, not chaotic like today. And my mom born in Alaska. So I have this old Alaska magazine. This is called Alaskan History. It's from the old magazine series that used to be called Alaska Sportsman. And it's all news about Alaska. Look at the date on the thing. It's 1935 to 1959. Different time in the world. But we're not going to look through that tonight. Instead, we're going to look through some old National Geographic that I found. And, back in the 50's, I couldn't find too many artifacts today, but I did find this guy. He used to sit on my parents' dresser when I was a kid, back in those times, the Kangaroo. And this guy was you put your watch on him, see, like that. This is a nice watch, but I hardly ever wear it because, we all have like iPhones and stuff now, so no one wear a watch anymore. But anyway, it's I wear it now and then for going out on a date or something like that. It's a very nice watch. But anyway, back in the 50s and 60's, there was these kangaroos around, and you would put your change down in here. I have aspirins down in here right now. See that? Just aspirin. But you would put your change here. There's a side pocket here to put valuable items in, maybe your wallet or something like that. And you would hang your watch and stuff on here. By the way, if you've ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction, which is not a soothing movie, but it's an interesting one, they're a kangaroo exactly like this guy in that movie, if you watch Crows. Okay, so check that out sometime. But this guy's from way back in the early 50's. That's when they were made, and sat on parents' dresser when I was a kid. Anyway, so that's the only artifact I could find off top of my head from that era. But I do have a Oh, here's another artifact. Everybody used to have things like this around, in their kitchen. Everything was country kitchen back then. So they would have, chickens and blue plates and stuff like that with homey scenes, This chicken, by the way, you can push a button and it raise eggs out the back there and in the chicken rear end. I would demonstrate and show you, but it's very, very noisy, and so I don't think you would be soothed by it. But if a lot of people insist, then maybe someday we'll mute the camera and show you how this chicken raise eggs. But so those are the kind of artifacts, that it flaps its wings too while when you're doing it. While it's laying the egg, it's kind of like buzzing around, on a tabletop, flapping its wings like this, and popping out little eggs. All right, so anyway, that's that. By the way, spring, it just became spring, and Mrs. Mikey out in the garden today picked this nice thing here, so you can see that things are looking up in drought stricken California. We got some rain. This thing pop up all by itself out in the yard, so I just thought you might like that. And I'm still working on my rock tumbling. Got some things, but I have other videos for the rock tumbling, so we're not going to talk too much about that tonight, because we devote other series to that. Okay? What I am going to talk about, and by the way, my voice is still a little scratchy. I have another voice aid here. Hall's Intense Cool Throat Lozenges. Would it be rude for me to open one and use that as a way to soothe my voice while I'm soothing you with my video? I hope it's not too rude. I think I'm going to get one out and do that. I'm going to get one of those out, because these they do help my voice some. Excuse me while I get a little bit more comfy here. And it's a lot of work unwrapping one of these lozenges, difficult work. So we'll do that and get that out of there. I'm just on the verge of a cough. Some people don't like it when people are chewing gum or doing lozenges. I hope that you'll be tolerant of me tonight. Anyway, we're going off topic in several directions. So let's get back on topic and look at, I came across a group of old National Geographic magazine, very nostalgic, and that was from a peaceful, happy time when families would take a whole month off in the summer and drive up and hang out at the lake or, by the seashore in New Jersey. They'd go up to Canada or something like that. They would have like a station wagon with wood panels on the side of it, and all the kids would be, in the back, and everybody was all clean cut and everything. Nobody had, tattoos or piercings or anything. If you've ever seen that old black and white show, Leave It to Beaver, you might have to be pretty old, or you might have to see it, or you might have to be watching the Nostalgia Network or something like that. In that show, that characterized the way things were in the 50s, although I think it might have been just a little bit stereotypical and extreme. Don't you? I mean, Ward Cleaver used to sit around in his living room reading the paper after work, wearing a suit, coat, and tie. And I just say to myself, did people really sit around relaxing in their living room in a suit and tie? Because if they did, maybe I don't want to go back to that time after all. Also, no internet then, no video game. So, I'm not so sure. There were pluses and minuses, but it was a simpler time. And the nostalgia of that time, it was a more peaceful time. So we'll check that out, because I think it interesting, at least interesting to me. And I'm old enough to remember when I was a kid how it was back then. And June Cleaver, on that Leave It to Beaver show, she used to like cook, bake cookies in a formal dress with, pearls around her neck, and formal, her hair done up, by a hairdresser. And she would have dinner that way. And I used to say to myself, did women really do that back in the 50s? They would get all formally dressed to bake cookies. So, little Stepford wife-ish, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I have this National Geographic. What's the date on this thing? Hard for me to see it with these sunglasses on. It is Volume 6. Oh, June. Speaking of June Cleaver, this is in June 1956. Right there. June 1956. So, I was going to just go ahead and show you some of this. I don't even know what's in it yet, because I came across a stack of these. And so I just thought we would take this one and thumb through it a little bit and see what's in there. I think it will be interesting to me, and maybe it will be interesting to you. And if you like it, then we'll do another video in the future, because I got like 8 of these from the 50s. Came across a little group of them, $1 a piece, didn't spend a lot. But to me, they smell a little bit musty, like they've been in an attic somewhere. But other than that, I think they're going to be okay. Hopefully we don't find any, mold or anything in them. But I glanced through them. They seem to be okay. So let me put this on pause. I put the camera where you can see this magazine, and we'll proceed with our topic tonight. Alright, so here we go with our National Geographic. And let's just see what they got in here. Old style Hamilton watch. Kind of interesting. Yeah. Well, look at that. Look at that old cataract. Can you see that? That is all red with white vinyl. Hey, remember when they had white wall tires on cars? That were a big thing. Here, let me show that up to you more close. White wall tires, and that was a different time. I don't think anybody would have that now, unless they had a classic car that they wanted to do that with, right? And okay, here we have, this was after the war was over, but they were still advertising Grumman aircraft. They make military planes and things. And this is when cruises were first getting big here. And what's this? I have no idea. Giant vault? A nice home for your family. Oh, they want you to put a big safe or something. Oh, it's homeowner insurance. That's what it is. They say they keep you safe, like that safe. Who's that guy? I don't know who that. Oh, that's Teddy Roosevelt. I should know that. He looked a little different in that picture. So, Trailways. This was before Greyhound bus was big. So the Trailways bus. See, they even had an elevated thing here, little window in the top. They'd have you go on excursions in the Trailways bus. So, what do we have here? 5-year plan. Hey, remember when we all had to take pictures with the old kind of camera? No, you're too young to remember that. But I remember it. Okay. Lots of interesting ads. I think the ads alone are worth looking at these magazines because they're so interesting. What people had back then. And again, you young people who make this ASMR, so many of you lovely young ladies probably don't even know what a phone booth is. Okay, you've seen it in movies or something, I know that. But this is the way we had to call people, There was no cell phone. So if you wanted to sneak out of the house and call your boyfriend or something, you had to go find, he had to go find a phone booth, and you did too. And everything was a rotary dial phone back then. Had to stick your finger in this thing and wrap it around each time, over and over on that phone to dial your call. Very inconvenient compared to the deluxe and smartphone. This thing, all it did was make a phone call. No texting, no Twitter, no internet on it, no apps. The only app on this phone was you could make it ring loud or soft with a switch on the bottom. That's the only app you're going to find on that old rotary dial phone. So, what else? Hey, this is the kind of car I was talking to you about. Remember? See, it was like great big two-tone station wagons with happy, beaming, smiling families in them, driving all over America or wherever you happen to be. Let's see what else. Big machines. They were really into electric power and stuff. It's all kind of, GE iron here. Portable steam dry. Big innovation back then. San Antonio. I went to San Antonio one time when I was working in Texas. Went to the Alamo, and I was shocked because I thought the Alamo would be like out in the desert surrounded by, scrub brush and brown dirt. And instead it's surrounded by big, tall buildings. I was kind of shocked. But, let's see what. So, here's cruise ship lines going to beautiful Japan. Hey, I don't think I've heard of any these days cruising there, but that would be big thing. Hey, here is the latest and greatest in MP3 technology. Your new Zenith portable radio weigh about 40 pounds, but you can take it around with you wherever you go. The only song you get from the airwaves, though. So, had a little monaural speaker on it, And that was a big deal. Those cost quite a bit back then, too. Full of transistors and other stuff. Let's see. Is this National Geographic just ads? Or are we going to get to a story somewhere? I guess just ads. That's okay. Pretty interesting. Another cool old car. What is this car? This is a life insurance ad, but they're still showing the car of the era. Like I told you, many ads for you to go travel to places like Canada, Quebec, stuff like that. Look, we finally got Goodyear tires. They're still in business, so they must be pretty good, right? And there you see again, white wall tire. I hold that up so you can see it. White wall tire, right there. Isn't that a nice looking car? I don't know what that is. Like a Buick or something. Maybe an Oldsmobile, not sure. Now we finally got to an article. Alaska's warmer side. Hey, do you think they were thinking of global warming back then? I don't think they were. Didn't have them problems back then. Actually, they were talking about global cooling, because the world was cooling from about 1940 to 1970s, late 70s, and it didn't start warming after that. Okay, so looked like, you know what? I know this place. This is Juneau, Alaska. My mom lived there when she was a kid. Lived in Juneau, Alaska. Her sister's born there, actually. And I've been there 2 times. Once when I was a kid with grandparents, and we spent several weeks up there. Not a stupid cruise or anything. We went up and actually stayed there with relatives. Beautiful place. Big glacier there. Mendenhall Glacier. Yeah, I didn't even know this was in here, I'm telling you. Make me want to go back. Then I took spouse and daughter there, and we visit. I want to go again. So you see we have the tribes. They talk about Ketchikan and Juneau, And they got a lot of artisans up there still making totems, various type of Indian tribe. When we went up there was the Tlingit tribe. Let's see, how do we spell Tlinget? I've heard it pronounced different ways. Tlingit, Tlingit. I have no idea how to pronounce it right. But I'll find out someday. I'll let you know. Oh, there's the glacier. There's Mendenhall Glacier. Some of the picture back then, black and white. So I guess National Geographic had to save some money. Couldn't do all the pictures in color. Look at this little fawn. The guy holding little bitty fawn. I didn't even know they would be that small, but that's interesting. This must be Ketchikan. I recognize that harbor. Here you see Ketchikan, all the boats. There's a big boardwalk thing go all the way along by the harbor. Sorry, I don't mean to wave this around, make it too confusing. And let's see what else. This is on Valley of 10,000 Smokes. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but we'll read about it later. I'm getting very interested. I have to see now making this video gonna force me to go back, read all these articles about Alaska. Maybe I'll give you a book report if you're a school teacher, right? Did you hate doing book reports when you were a kid? I sure did. Now spouse taking college English, telling me I got to help her with her essay. And I say to her, I thought I was done with that a few decades ago. Now you're going to make me do homework again. So, in Alaska, there's a lot of float planes because there's no, the roads can't, it's a huge state. Roads can't connect up the cities, so they use float planes quite a bit to ferry people around and ferry goods around to little villages and to fishing camps and things like that. So pilot a good job in Alaska, except, dangerous job, but still a good job. Pilots make things go up there. This must be a rare sunny day, warm day. Not so rare in the summer. When I was in Alaska, it was about 90 degrees in Juneau when I was a kid, and it was 4th of July, and they had their own little fireworks. They would shoot flares up in the air in parachutes and stuff. This was quite a long time ago. Caught a big halibut there, by the way. Some big cods, We had the best salmon ever ate in my life. Wish I could have you taste some. And we took a plane ride in a big old de Havilland plane over the Juneau ice cap, which is all big glacier field up above Juneau in the mountains. I remember it very well. Let's see, so some of the mountains around there. Where's this? 7,600 feet, it says, this mountain. Which one is it? Jade Lake, Katmai Crater. Here's the crater. This is like Crater Lake in Oregon, created by a volcano that exploded and left a giant hole which filled with meltwater. Here's a different view. Yeah, that's a lot like Crater Lake in Oregon. I didn't know they had this up in Alaska, so I got to see, where is this? Miniature cone mirror of this crater, northeast corner of Katmai National Monument. Okay, so it's by Katmai, Alaska. You can look that up if you want to see. And there's another view. So, we're getting all messed up here. Let's go back like this. And I think I need to take another sip of water, if you don't mind. Thank you. And another sip of my adult beverage. It has a nice amber color, don't you think? And nice amber color. And even though I don't have nails, I can make a little bit of sound with this thing, because even stubby nails can make a little bit of sound. So I really love it though when I hear women doing that with their nails, if it's light, you know. I don't like it when they drum really heavy, kind of a light thing. Anyway, let me take a sip. Off topic again, huh? So a little golden amber fluid to soothe my throat. All right, so look at this. Guys are feeding a little red fox here. So is that what that is? Some scientists, yeah? Keep a fox for a pet, you know? Mount McKinley. They call that something else now. They call that Denali, because the Indian named this mountain Denali. So they don't call it Mount McKinley anymore. McKinley was like a president or something who helped with the Alaska Purchase, I think. I'm going to have to go look it up. Otherwise, I show you my history ignorance. Don't want to do that. So, look at that beautiful old, what is that, Chevy? Yeah, Chevy Bel Air with the snow on the front there. Beautiful car. My first car, since this is nostalgia night, my first car was a 1965 Chevy Chevelle Malibu Super Sport. And I loved that car with every fiber of my teenage being when I bought it. First car, many good memories. Can't tell you all the memories because this is a G-rated ASMR video, okay? So what we got going here, Air Force Base, kind of boxy, the old kind of jet they used to have back then. And I think here they're melting they're trying to make the road better by melting the ice off it or something. Don't think we would do it that way today. Don't want to put lots of emissions and chemical pollutants into the air unnecessarily. Okay. Big antenna. Trying to hear outer space signals. We still have these today, of course. Trying to listen for aliens. Don't think we're ever going to hear one, but much bigger ones today than this. Big arrays of antennas. I'm in the rocket science business, so I know about some of that stuff. And let's see what else. Look at the giant Kodiak bear. Alaskan brown bear, also known as a grizzly. See this lady? How big that bear is by comparison? That's the actual, my other daughter just learned how to do, what do you call it when you stuff an animal? She did a squirrel. Now I'm forgetting the name for that. It will come to me later and I'll remember. And she did a really good, I'm going to have to show it to you. Let's see. Look at what these, are these Eskimo tribe? Yeah. See how they throw themselves way up in the air? I kind of don't like heights. So I'm not sure I'd want to be the one doing that. Maybe I'd be the one down here doing the throwing, okay? But it still looks like fun, doesn't it? It'd be kind of exciting. And old canoes and things. There's a lot about Alaska here. Here's the northern lights. The aurora borealis, caused by massive bombardment of particles from the sun caught by the Earth's magnetic polar. And too bad it's not in color, I only see that one time in my life. I was on a flight to Europe from North America, and they take a kind of a semi-polar route, and the aurora borealis going on. I watched it out the plane window for hours at night while everyone else was asleep. I don't sleep on planes, do you? Of course, if I would have had some ASMR video to watch, I could have slept on the plane. Look at this old post office here in Yukon, Alaska. Pretty nice. So, do you think that if this guy's name was John Lennon, he would be the Eggman? Oh wait, he would be the walrus. Okay? Inside joke. You're gonna have to know Beatles music to know what I'm saying. Look at all those walruses. Nice ivory tusk. And, you know, what to say, these are called, these are the king crabs here. King crab in Alaska. They're very good. They can weigh up to 20 pounds. So, and here are ladies working in a cannery. Back then, canning crab. Let's see, to pack the crab, the leg meat of the crab. It's very yummy, by the way. Best seafood I ever had in Alaska. So here's salmon. Lots of salmon over here. There's lots of salmon, and still lots of salmon there. You know, good salmon run. Every year's a little bit different. This looks like St. Petersburg. Let's see if that's what it says. Oh yeah. No, Kodiak. That's Kodiak, and that's the Orthodox Church. What am I saying? St. Petersburg. That's a Russian city. No, but see, there's one in Alaska, too. That's why I'm saying it. But they have a Russian Orthodox Church, because this part of Alaska was settled by, of course, Russia at one time. Before the European, the settlers from America, Europe, went up there and bought it for like $12 or whatever. I did pay Russia something like $3 an acre or something. I can't remember now. $3 a square mile. Anyway, it was a pittance. But that was before anybody knew there was, you know, massive amounts of salmon and gold and oil and beauty and stuff like that. So, this looks like Juneau again. Oh, but it's not. In Juneau, they have an old mine, abandoned mine, and very interesting. All right, let's see if there's any other articles in this national. I can't stay up all night doing this. A giant moose. We're going to retire to Oregon someday. I have a little place there, and there's a lot of elk, but no moose. That where we're going, there's elk and other things like that. Snowshoe hare, those kinds of things. Tell me if I can improve on the technique of how I do this, because I'm very new at this ASMR magazine thing. And if I'm annoying you, you can tell me, and see if we can refine our technique a little bit. All right, look at all those, what are those, seabirds flocking around the boats, trying to get some snack, I think. And boats, this must be Glacier Bay. Yep, ice cliffs on Glacier Bay. Isn't that a nice looking? I'm going to show you a photograph we take sometime of some of the bergs and things up there. That one got stranded on the shore and then just started melting. But they're a beautiful color. This picture doesn't do it justice. They're this vivid, vivid blue color. Catch them in the right light of day. And let's see what else. Where are all these plains? I don't know. Alaska, frontier, it's still a frontier, you know. It's a growing population, but look like showing some of the wildflowers of Alaska. And some of the flora, since we saw some of the fauna already. And guys fishing. See, I like to fish, so I did some fishing in Alaska when we were there. Caught some nice fish. And now we're back to the color photos again. Sometimes in these old geographics, they would go back and retouch the photos with a little coloring paint or something, and you could always tell. I guess that was their CGI of that day, computer generated graphics, you know. That's how they did it. It's some kind of mushroom, wild chives, it says here. So I don't know what these are, but I remember seeing them. Oh, they're called forget-me-nots. So all my ASMR friends, please don't forget me. Make me some magazine video, because that's what I'm doing for you. Diana do. Alright, so dandelions. We have a bearded dragon who absolutely loves dandelions, and sometime I'm going to show you her eating one, because it's quite interesting to see. Alright, fluffy white, look like cotton. What is this? Fluffy white balls. Called Alaska cotton, it says here. Alright, skunk cabbage down here. Don't know if it smelled bad or why they call it skunk cabbage. I should know, but I don't. Here, I think now we're on a different topic. Trieste, side door to Europe. Does anybody know about Trieste? Maybe you can tell me all about it. I'm going to have to read it later. But let's see what we can pick up just by looking. I guess Trieste is in Italy. Is that right? Let's see. Once Middle Europe's chief port and a long disputed prize, Trieste is Italian again after an agreement with Yugoslavia. All right. So these are global geographic things that I should know all about if I would have paid better attention in school, right? I was more interested in science back then than I was in history. But now I'm interested in history too. So I'll go back and read. This looks very beautiful. The Church of St. Anthony in Trieste. Go up a canal to get there. Look like very fascinating. I've seen some of the areas in Italy, and I have visited in the Rome area of Italy only, and the L'Aquila and things like that, but never been to some other parts, because I there on business. Didn't get much time to sightsee, unfortunately. And in my rocket science job, we buy a lot of very exotic electronic hardware from all over the world. Europe and Canada and Japan and France and Norway, Italy, Spain, España, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, all those kind of places. So those places I have visited. But never got to sightsee very much, too busy with work. I got to see some things, the Palace de, got to see the Palace de Versailles and things like that. What's this now? This look Greek. Is this Italian or? Let's see here. Teaching a kid how to use a fork. This is a fork. So that kind of self-explanatory. Anyway, it's very colorful. They got. What's that about? That maybe that's the. What is that fairy tale with the girl turns into a princess or whatever? The glass slipper. Can you remember that? My memory not so good. Oh look, just show us where Trieste is. A border of Yugoslavia. This area here. So Trieste over here. I'm going to have to go back and check. So whether Trieste still belonged to Italy. No, I don't know. Here's an old amphitheater with an apartment complex behind it. It's always a shock if you're a tourist or something and you go to these places, like the pyramids and the Giza pyramids in Egypt, and you don't know there's a whole big city around there, because you've always seen picture where it looked like they're out in the middle of the desert. That looked like the old the old Roman canals and things that they used to have. I don't know. But city northern living. Looked like a beautiful place to go. Northern Italy. Big columns there, you know. It's amazing the stuff they built back then during the Roman Empire, you know. 2,000 years ago, and they were building stuff like this. How long do you think it took them to do it? I bet it took a long time. They would work on projects for, you know, in my new national, I'm going to go way off topic for just a second. And, yeah, here's the guy from the 50s, right? So, yeah, with some aspirins down here in his pouch, right? See, I wonder what's in this side pocket. Oh, look what's in there. Some, wow, I just dropped a, okay, aspirins on the floor. Now I got to throw them away because I won't eat anything off the floor. This looked like some, oh, this is an aquamarine. Give to spouse sometime. I wonder if she know I have this ring. Maybe I can give it to her all over again and she forget, you know. Save some money on birthday gift. Shh, don't tell her anything, okay? I put that back in that secret side pouch. And this is a ring. Okay, I'm going to admit something to you. Do you see that? It's like a purplish blue amethyst. Beautiful, nice ring. Used to wear it sometimes, but now my finger, I have to lose a little bit of weight to get it back on my finger. So I'm going to be doing that over the next few months. Then I'm going to report back to you, okay? See how far off topic we can get. Where was I? I was going to show you in Rome something they built and that I was checking out earlier. This is in a new National Geographic. The Cathedral of Florence. And it's very fascinating. So I'm just giving you a glimpse that we're going to talk about this sometime in the future. Took, you know, I don't know how many dozens of years. Got like one of the giant, biggest domes on Earth on top of this thing. So we're going to talk about how they made that in some future video, but not today, okay? So pardon me going so far off topic, because we're almost done for the night. All right, let's see what else we got here. So more of the beautiful area. I'd like to have one of these boats. Wouldn't you like to have, so you could just go out and paddle around and then in the, you know, out in the Mediterranean or something? I think that would be, do a little fishing or tanning or something. All right, so, you know, they're pulling around in that boat there. All right, we're almost done, but, you know. What's this here? Look at big tapestry and one of those old cherubic-looking figures like Michelangelo and Raphael and those guys used to do. Yeah, let's say carved and painted cherubim decorates a sumptuous bed at Miramar. You know, that is quite a bed. I think I'd be a little nervous sleeping in that bed. You know, I'd think, you know, what if I cough or something? You know, this is too fancy for me. I would not feel very comfortable in that thing. And let's see. So marketplace, cafe. You know, Europe got these outdoor cafes everywhere. Here in the United States, you have to go down to L.A., go to the coast or something, you know, for an outdoor cafe. And what is this? Bougainvillea? I don't know. Anyway, it looked pretty good. Whatever that is. So, he's making some kind of point, but I don't know what. And she's making some kind of point over here, but I don't know what point she's making either. Something about beautiful. You know, I don't have time to figure it out right now, right? Oh, look at this, about swordfish and marlin. See, that's not a real photograph. Of course, that's a painting, so they're trying to fool you. This must show the larva stages and things, you know. I love fish, you know. Some people would say, because I'm a Pisces, But since I don't believe in astrology, I don't think that's what it is, besides the fact that the astrological signs are all a month off, because they were conceived back when the constellations were about 30 days different than they are now. So all you people who think you know your sign, you're wrong. Sorry to tell you. Please don't shoot me or anything. All right, so you got some other things here about sea life, and this is very interesting to me. I'll have to go back and read it all. I know I'm a little too carried away with the pages here. I need to be more, calm and gentle with them, I think is what you want me to do. Because that's what I like to see when I'm getting soothed. But lots of different species. And now here's a thing on Cyprus, which, of course, part of, area by Greece and North Africa. So, used to be, this is a really nice area to go down here. And don't know today if it is or not. It's off the coast of, Turkey and the Middle East area. So, North Africa down here, Greece up here. The whole Mediterranean's really nice, don't you think? And let's see. I don't know. This is more about Cyprus, so I'm going to read all about it when I have a chance. Interesting to contrast how it was back then compared to today. Things change a little bit less fast-paced in Europe than in the United States. Because they have so much cultural history, they don't go tear everything down and turn it into a strip mall. So there's more architectural beauty there and more history there. All right. Hey, look at this. Can you believe this? This camera, I think what this is you would shoot stereo color slides and put them in a Viewmaster. You got to be pretty old to even know what that is. Oh, there's the Viewmaster in the back there, see? You put the slide in there, and it gives you a 3D stereo effect. It costs a fortune to shoot film with a camera like that. I didn't even know they had that back then. I thought only professionals were. But I guess you could buy one. And, like, these are the scenes that I remember from the 50s. The station wagon, with the boat and the water skiing, And look how the women were dressing, okay? Now, you would think if you were doing all this, they'd be in a swimsuit or something, But they're all formal, like, pressed, starched shorts and a top and, stuff like that. Kind of funny. Evinrude motors. I remember, though, that was the popular fishing boat motor and everything. Look at this old Lincoln. We had a Cadillac in the front of this magazine, so they got to put a Lincoln in the back, I guess. I didn't even know they had one that looked like that. This thing looked very skinny. Big, long, skinny Lincoln. What year was it? Oh, that's 56. That's interesting. That's not even a model I ever saw. And ads to go places in the summer, Oh, this is an interesting place. Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado, where the Indian built their settlements into the side of the cliff. We'll talk about that sometime. Don't have time today. And that's about it. What do we have at the end here? Oh, look, the latest in technology. I've got this big giant hand telephone thing here with this cord on it, that nobody uses anymore. And, this is iced tea. They're advertising this horrid stuff called sucralose. It's like saccharin, early version. Tasted terrible. And that was a sugar substitute in the early days, before Sensa and these other kinds they have now. All right, I think that's it for today's National Geographic trip into nostalgia land. Don't you think that was an interesting time? People would just travel and enjoy themselves and have family life and nature, and that's what it was all about. So we'll come back and do another one sometime if you like. And other than that, we have a lot of other kind of videos to do. But until then, I have a word of advice for everyone I always want to pass on. Never ASMR and drive. Okay, take care everybody. Until next time.